Today, we become legends.
Smite is a game, and like all games, there are great things about it as well as terrible things that make me want to get Ymir ulted IRL. This video will cover 25 things I hate about the game and wish weren't there or were changed. I'll also have a video out pretty soon after this one on 25 things I love about the game, and also a quick note that this video isn't being done to hate on the game or the devs, just to vent my frustrations and provide some criticism of a game I love. But without further ado, let's jump in. Number 1. DCs, trolls, and toxic players. So we'll start with an obvious one. No one likes any of these players being in their game. DCs are more forgivable as long as it's not a rage quit, but trolls, AFK and fountain spammers, toxic players, they all make the general experience of Smite worse for all 9 other players in that game, and no one wants them around. We all know this is annoying, and so I won't harp on it too long, but yeah, these guys ruin games. Number 2, clans are sad. Clans, man. How long ago was it that Hi-Rez disabled clans, promising to rework them and bring new features, then added them back as bare bones as physically possible? That feels like years ago at this point, and all clans do at the moment is give you a clan tag. No clan store, no clan chat, not being able to join multiple clans, not being able to create multiple clans. There's just so many features that these are lacking and were promised to us when Hi-Rez removed them years ago. We had a lot of these features I just mentioned a decade ago. Clans are worse now than they were in 2014 when I joined Smite. A clan store with rotating skins similar to daily bundles that are exclusive to your clan, and adding back clan chat would be a great start. Number 3, frustrating or bad god designs. So this one is a little subjective on exactly who you think are the frustrating designs, but I can almost guarantee that everyone watching has at least a handful of gods they just hate playing as or against. Whether they're just left-click W machines, way too reliant on snowballing, blatantly bloated compared to old designs, etc. I won't go into any specific gods here, but we all know what I'm talking about and have our own opinions on this topic. Number 4, OP gods at release or otherwise. So another obvious one here, but ridiculously OP gods make the game so much more unfun, especially in casuals where you can't even ban them. To be clear, I'm not talking about just overtuned gods, but actually OP or broken ones, and specifically ones that are left OP for far too long before nerfs arrive, often on a god's release. I know Smite is a dynamic game and keeping everything balanced all the time is beyond impossible, but sometimes it feels like obvious changes to OP gods take 4 times as long as they need to, and it hurts the game. A draft casual mode could help with this, as many people don't want to deal with broken piece of shit gods, but also don't want to deal with the toxicity and pressure of ranked. Number 5, OP items. So basically everything I just mentioned previously, but for items. These are arguably even worse sometimes, since you can't ban items, and multiple gods can abuse a really broken item to the point where if you're not building it, you're just losing. Think original Glad Shield, old Golden Bow, crit from a little while back, etc. And again, it often takes far too long for appropriate nerfs to arrive for these insane items, which warp the meta for weeks or even months before getting changes. Number 6, so many bugs. No game can be bug-free, especially not one that is updated monthly, but sometimes it feels like Smite is on the upper end in terms of bugs for games. Morrigan's release is of course the most crystallized example, but every patch seems to introduce a ridiculous new bug, like nerfing an item by 10 power causing Neith's pirate skin voice pack to be Fafnir's voice instead or some shit. The menu highlight bug has literally been in the game on and off for over 5 years. More recently, Charon had a couple of game-breaking bugs, and it appears shields in Smite are one giant pile of bugs. I've got a full video on that if you're interested. It's specifically the ones that never get fixed that annoy me though. If a bug is hotfixed within a week or 2, I don't really mind unless it's completely game breaking. But it often takes months or even years to fix a single bug in the game, which just makes the whole experience so much worse. Number 7, out of touch patches. So this is one that's been getting on my nerves more recently than in the past. The Guan Yu nerfs when he wasn't even a good solo laner anymore, but leaving Raven and Thor untouched is a good recent example, as well as the Book of Thoth nerfs when Doomorb and Deso Rush was already way better. These kind of patches either come way too late or address completely the wrong thing and give off the impression that the balance team don't actually understand what's going on in the game. I'm sure they do, but it's hard to believe them when the patches are so out of touch with what players actually want. Number 8, no pro players on EU servers. So this is more of just a little pet peeve of mine with this one. that can't really be helped, but since the Pro League moved to LAN in Georgia, there's no real pro players on the EU servers anymore, which, as someone who occasionally gets high enough in rank to see the odd pro here and there, it's kind of sad because it was always cool to test my skills against the best players in the world. Of course, I lose 90% of the time, but it's fun regardless. This probably doesn't affect most people, but anyone who queues a high-end EU ranked will sympathize with this one. Number 9, Aphrodite. Okay, so this is somewhat of a meme putting this one as its own entry, as it falls under poorly designed or frustrating gods in my opinion, but Aphro is special in how annoying she is to play against. and sometimes to play with if you get one of the many 100-star Afro mains that know nothing about the game besides one God Kit and build Book of Thoth 6 Siphon. Number 10, Loki mains. So not actually a complaint about Loki here, but more so the diehard Loki mains that split push like rats and are usually very toxic. Number 11, having no beads. We've all been there. Your beads are 5 seconds from coming back up and you get hit by a huge stun and instantly die because of it. Having no beads in Smite is like trying to run a marathon with your shoelaces tied together. With so much burst damage and hard CC in the game, one mistake leads to instant death, and beads can often stop that from happening. But if they're on cooldown, you better be on your toes. Number 12, grinding ranked. So this is sort of a love-hate relationship. Sometimes grinding ranked can be extremely fun if you're getting balanced matches and learning a lot as you go. But when you get stuck in the endless ranked vortex, just pinging between the same 2 ranks and never going anywhere while getting Grandmasters players in your Platinum games, it can be one of the most frustrating things about Smite. Number 13, exclusive or chest skins. Wow, complaining about chests so original, I know, but just because chests and exclusivity have become the norm in Smite doesn't mean it's a good thing. Seeing a skin you really want only to find it was part of an event 3 years ago and you have to pay double the price, or worse yet, can't get it at all, or seeing a new skin release and realizing it's only in chests, or again, you can pay triple the price of the chest just to get the one skin you actually want. In fairness, this has gotten a little better over the years since many skins can now be bought direct purchase with gems, but the price on them is very steep compared to buying in the event or a chest for a reason. They want to incentivize you into gambling for it, or falling into FOMO, or the fear of missing out on that new skin that looks really cool, so you buy it instantly on release to avoid having to buy it later for 3 times the price. It's annoying and honestly verging on a little scummy in my opinion, but hey, Smite's far from the worst game out there in terms of monetization, so I won't complain too much. Number 14, certain parts of the community. So this is pretty similar to toxic players, DCs, and trolls from earlier, but I want to stress that in general, the Smite community is not as bad as people portray it to be. But there are absolutely bad actors who seemingly will do everything in their power to make the game a worse experience for others. I'm talking trolls, toxic players, stream snipers, Reddit complainers, some streamers and content creators, etc. They bring the whole community down, and it's sad to see. Number 15, overly long Conquest games. So this one is more relevant than ever, as Conquest games on average are the longest they've ever been in the history of Smite right now, as per data directly from Hi-Rez. By overly long, I don't just mean 30 to 40 minute games. For an arena main, that might seem really long, but as a Conquest player, I don't mind a 30 to 40 minute game, as long as there aren't any DCs, trolls, massive MMR differences, etc. But when the games start going 50 minutes, an hour, longer, that's where it gets really tiring, and most people in that match just want to move on. Occasionally, an hour-long game can be fun, especially if it's balanced, but at the moment, these 50 to 60 minute games feel like they're happening 1 in 20 or even more often than that, which can get real boring real quick. Number 16, F7 Warriors. We've all been there. You're down 10k gold at 50 minutes in, your team is 2 to 35 in kills, your mid laner has been DC'd since 8 minutes in, but you have a duo queue on your team that refuse to F6 any game no matter the circumstances, and essentially hold you hostage in a game that's not fun and certainly not winnable. Whether it be principle, pride, trolling, or something else, these kind of players are the worst. To be clear though, an F7 Warrior is not any player who mostly F6s. An F7 Warrior is the type to still F7 when all hope was lost 15 minutes ago, your mid laner is never coming back, and the enemy team are farming you in the fountain as you spawn. Number 17, F6 Warriors. Oh yeah, don't think you F6 Warriors are going to get off scot-free, you're just as annoying as the F7 Warriors. These are the types of players who die once in a game when you're up 15 to 2 in kills and instantly try to F6. The worst of them will even AFK if you refuse to bow to their whims at F6. Get enough of these players on your team and you'll be F6ing completely winnable games just because they're salty that they got ganked. Don't be that guy. Number 18, dying to tick damage or minions. This one is just fundamentally sad. Being 50 HP after a nice solo kill on your lane opponent only to die to a stray archer shot or some lingering tick damage from Bluestone Pendant feels like shit. Also, New War ult falls into this camp as well. Number 19, being pulled under a tower. This one is personal for me as a solo main where a lot of top gods like Tia, Hercules, Fenrir, Kuzumbo, etc. will sit on their tower line like a lemon just waiting for you to take one step too far up in the lane and make up for their lack of brain cells by letting their tower kill you 5 minutes in. Towers hit insanely hard now, and early game you can die to 2 or 3 hits, and it's extremely frustrating. Number 20, Unleashed Titans stopping you ending the game. So this is a very new problem in Smite. With the new mechanic in the Season of Souls where Titans unleash and can walk up a lane, you physically cannot end the game if Titans happen to unleash right after you wipe the enemy team at their Phoenix. It's not that bad because if you were sieging in the first place, you were likely already winning, and wiping the enemy team is only going to further that, but it's just a little annoying when you could have literally ended the game right there but have to reset, kill the Unleashed Titan and siege again later. Number 21, Spirit Minions stopping your recall or blink. Fuck Spirit Minions, remove them already. Enough said. Number 22, having to play 300 games for a ranked border. So I don't know if this is something that you guys even notice or care about, but to get your rank on the loading frame at the end of the season, you need to win 150 ranked games. With an average win rate of 50%, that's 300 ranked games you need to play in a year, which if you main ranked isn't too bad, just one game a day or so. But for myself and many others that play mostly casuals and only grind ranked occasionally, it's annoying to have to play 100 or so games right at the end of the season just to get my ranked border. You should just get it anyway, and maybe the frame is enhanced or cooler looking based on how many total wins you got in that season, or maybe even displays your total wins at the top. Number 23, 100 star 1 tricks. We've all seen at least one, if not many of these guys. They have 100 plus stars on their god, but know nothing about how the game actually works and nothing about any other god in the game, making their play against enemies much worse and their synergy with your team's gods also much worse. It's a famous meme in Smite that after about 5 to 10 stars you can actually expect the player to be worse the more stars they have, and it's scarily accurate. Number 24, turtling. So this one links in a little with the long Conquest games from earlier, as turtling under Phoenixes can prolong games enormously, even with the added beacon buffs EFG and Unleashed Titans. But turtling can also be the thing in the laning phase, especially in solo lane where the enemy just completely refuses to ever brawl with you and just clears wave, sits under tower while they wait for the next one. Of course, you can still get a lead by taking the neutral farm or invading when the enemy turtles under their tower, but it's extremely boring to play against this type of player. And finally, number 25, diminishing returns on CC. So this one, I understand why it exists, and previously I just complained about having no bees meaning instant death, but the amount of times I've dropped to kills to this mechanic that I have no realistic way of knowing is even active can be really frustrating. 80% CC reduction is just too much in my opinion, and completely ruins certain combos like Thor's ult combo or Horus's 2-1 combo, as the enemy is unstunned after 0.4 seconds with nothing you can do about it. But that's 25 things I hate about Smite. Stay tuned and subscribe to the channel as I'll be putting out a 25 things I love about Smite video pretty soon after this one. Because believe it or not, I do think Smite is a great game and has a ton of things I love about it as well as hate. What are your personal top 3 things you hate the most about the game? Let me know down below and I'll catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.